Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to you all. I'm Vishal, your host for today's session. I hope you're having a great day so far and are really excited for the brand new informative session of the Masterclass series organized by the Institute of Product Leadership. Now, before we begin today's insightful session, let me just quickly take you through the Institute programs. Okay, I'd like to give a quick introduction to the Institute. The Institute of Product Leadership is Asia's first business school providing accredited degree programs and certification courses in product management, product leadership, data design, strategic, and leadership. It has partnered with multiple universities. It was founded in the year 2012 with a singular mission of creating 10,000 product leaders in this country. And ever since, the organization has designed and delivered programs in collaboration with various institutes, universities, and corporates to the senior working professional to help them make career transitioning into product leadership. Now, the Institute has built and developed a community of over 4,500 plus successful alumni, leading the product, data, and design teams across 250 plus organizations around the world. You can find more about the institutes and the program offered on our website. Please check the chat window for the URL. Sanya, if you could share the link in the chat box. Thank you. All right, folks. Today's session is on automate your product research with AI workflows. Once our speaker for today's present his insights, we'll open up for questions. Please keep your questions ready. You can post your questions on the Zoom in the Q&A sections. And also, this session is being streamed live on LinkedIn. So viewers, please feel free to post your questions in the comment section, and we will directly share it with the speakers. Take advantage of this opportunity, folks. Engage with our stream speakers with some good and fantastic, intriguing questions. All right. Then, folks, let me kickstart this session by welcoming and introducing today's speaker, Mr. Abhilash Shah. Abhilash started his career as a software engineer and gradually transitioning into product management, working across various industries like investment banking, sports gambling, and most recently, the travel industry. He recently started his own company called Scalecraft.ai, where he helps startups and small businesses reduce manual work and boost productivity through AI-powered automation solutions. Based in UK, Abilash works with clients across sectors to build AI workflows that save time and surface meaningful insights. He also posts regularly about AI and automation, so be sure to check out his LinkedIn profile. I'll drop the link in the comments. Do connect with him. Now, coming to today's workshop, Avilash will take us through how to build a product research automation workflow, one that runs in the background, gathers raw data from various sources, and turns it into a structured insights. Very warm welcome to you, Avilash, and we are really excited to have you here with us today. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you, Vishal, for that kind introduction. And thanks for having me. Super excited for this session. And to all the folks who have joined, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As I understand, we've got people joining across from various locations. So thank you for your time today. And I'm really looking forward for this session. Yeah. So few things, really excited because I think we've got some more than 200 people joining in. We've got it live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So probably I'm going to speaking to larger audience for very first time. So very excited for that, number one. The number two reason I'm very excited is because we are going to talk about one of the most pressing problem for any product managers, which is how do you keep or stay on top of all the product research work that you have to do, right? And how we will do it, we'll certainly look at using automation, leveraging automation to do that. But again, we won't be replacing whole product research, right? I'll take you through the session, but I wanted to make this very clear. You will still be talking to your customers, you'll still be trying to get hold of all the problem challenges, but there is a significant part that happens after that, right? So that is what we are looking at automating it so that in a way that you get your all the structured insights straight to you, you are able to save time and make faster decisions. And the whole idea is then you to be able to ship your product quickly. That's the whole intention. Yeah. So I'll take you through my whole setup. How I've done it. I'll be demoing it to you guys. But that's the whole plan for the day. I'll certainly share the agenda. One thing I would really request, I think Vishal has already mentioned this, because we've got so many participants, there is practically it's not possible for me or Vishal to interact with each one of you. I mean, getting you on the call. So I would want you guys to actively participate. Number one, by actively engaging. So that's how I'll gauge the feedback. So I would want you all to start sharing your comments, your thoughts in the comment section of the Zoom, and that's how I'll be able to gauge if there's anything you would like to know more, or if whatever I'm sharing is going to make sense to you. So I would like to really see your thoughts coming in to the comment section. And second, because this is going to be quite fast paced, it's not going to be theoretical all. There will be a little bit of theory, but it's going to be more practical. It will be demo, there will be demo, there will be uh, the workflow that I'll be building in front of you. So if you want to grab pen, notebook, whatever you've got near you, just feel free to grab that. I want you to take notes in case you think that's going to help you. But yeah, I think that's a lot of talking. Without any further ado, I'll share my screen and get started. Vishal, if you can confirm, you can see my screen. Super awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I hope as well that you can see it in full screen as well. Let me know that.
Oh, yeah, it's in full screen. Yeah.
Super awesome. Okay, so today's session, as we all know, it's going to be all about automating your product research with AI workflows. What to expect in today's session? We will be having quick poll, just so that I get to know you all better. We will go through some of the basics about product research. So, like I said, there will be a little bit of theory, but that's important because we want all of us to be on the same page before we dive into the automation. Then we will touch base upon the basics of automation, and subsequently we'll get into the tools, right? And one of the most important tool that I'll be relying here or using it here is make.com. So it's very important for all of you to even understand what is make.com, what are different modules, what are we going to do with it. Yeah, so I'll be giving little more insights into make.com before we actually jump into the live demo. Live demo is where I'll display or not display, sorry, I'll demo the full setup that I've built using make.com for the product research. I'll exactly explain you what I'm going to demo so that you have a little more context. I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed with the different branches that we might have. But I will be giving that little context before we dive in. Post that, I will be building a workflow step by step. I won't be building full system. I'll be taking a slice of it because if you look at the full system, it might take at least, if not weeks, but it will take days to build that full workflow. So to make it more feasible, I'll be building step by step the part of that workflow in front of you so that you can exactly understand what I'm doing, how I'm building it, and I'll be also sharing the step-by-step guide with you all guys so that I think Vishal will be sending an email after this. You will get a link so you can actually look through the step-by-step guide and implement after this session how you go about building this full system. So that's whole plan, and towards the end I think we should have some time left for Q&A. Yeah, so if you can give me thumbs up, we'll go get started. Okay, so here's the poll. Certainly, I don't think we've got a poll, as in the actual poll of Zoom. So what I would like to know in the comment section is what's your current role? So if you can share, are you a product manager? Are you product designer? Do you have? Are you coming from tech or software engineer or marketing or sales or entrepreneur? So I'm very keen to understand what roles are you coming from? Cool. So I see PMs, I see startup founder, student. That's great. I got UX strategist, product manager. Super. All right. Okay. We've got people from finance as well. Thanks, Srijit, for joining in. Software engineer, product manager. All right. Aspiring associate PM, CEO. Awesome. Cool. So we've got, I think, a good amount of representation from every part of it, not just product managers. I'm glad to see so many founders, so many students, UX, everyone. So thanks again for joining. That's one thing I wanted to know so that as we progress in the session, I kind of understand, to what level should I be going into product research. So that's great that you guys have shared where you come from. Next is what is your comfort with automation tools? I wanted to understand how familiar are you with no code automation tools, like let's say like make.com or Zapier or anything. So either you've never heard of them, you've heard of them but never used it, you are a beginner and used it once or few times, or you are an expert who use them regularly to build any kind of automation. So if you can share your thoughts about this next poll. This is again just for me to understand to what how detailed should I go. Okay, so I see most of you have never heard or learning. You too. And make.com now change to NA10. Yeah, that's perfect. Again, that's where even I am heading. We're moving towards NA10 now. And of course, you can self-host it. That's great. Aware of other automation tools, never heard. NA10. Awesome. So we've got a few of you coming from make.com. I see a couple of them coming from NA10, but I think most of people here, they haven't heard of this. So that's good. So at least I know I'll need to get into a little more basics before, I start diving into the details. Super. Thank you so much for sharing your answers about this poll. Now let's get into the actual presentation or actual session for today. So number one, what is the product research, right? So if you can share your comments again for this, I would like to hear what, according to you, is product research. I will certainly share my thoughts into the next slide, but I am very keen to understand what you guys think is product research. So in short comments, a few words, just let me know what you think is product research. Super. So Ruhi is saying user research on pain points. Very good. Yeah, the W is about product, right? And then solving problem with new product. Oh, guys, I'm getting quite a few. I'm losing track of them, but that's good. So basis of successful empowered product manager role. Will product will ever be required by the users or for the users, gathering information about the scope, understanding the gaps, getting to know what type of product, what needs to be built, problem that is feasible for us to solve, right? Basic due diligence, understanding market research, pain point, know will the product solve, new product for business. It's completely about conducting user research. Awesome. I think, yeah, we've got most of the insights in market research, computer users, user and buyer research. Very good, Ashish, because this is what I'm going to certainly touch base upon. That user product research is much more than user research is critical part of it, no doubt. But more than user research, again, there are many other things that goes in. One is market research. You want to understand the trend in the market. You want to understand what your competitor is doing. You have user persona, you have a buyer persona, so you want to do research about them. And you certainly, again, these are just few lists. There is a whole longer list of things that you can do as part of product research. But that's good to know. I'll share what I believe is product research. So it's all about gathering insights to inform your product decision, right? So that's in simple words, I understand product research is an act or a set of steps that you take to gather the insights to inform your product decision. Now that gathering insights could be from variety of sources. It could be about your user research. It could be about competitor. It could be about understanding market trend or even internal feedback, right? You might be speaking to your support team, your sales team to gather more feedback. So these are the different things or different types of researches that you carry out. Now, according to me, the research in very simplistic way or simplistic, the way to put it very simply is it's a three-step process. Number one, it is number one, you take the input or gather and capture all the information and feedback, which is in very much raw data, raw format, right? So you will be speaking to your, let's say, customers. You get an interview, you write your notes, or you get a transcript from your Zoom or Google Meet calls. That's capturing the input. Second is actually then analyzing the input. So you go into all that raw notes, all that raw data, and try to structure them. Different teams do it in a different way. Some of you might be using Miro board, some of you might be using Notion. So then you try to segregate all the data and make it in a structured format so that you are able to gain some insight out of it. Yeah? That's the second part. And the final part is you then derive or make some decisions out of this information that you have captured. Uh, Again, this is not one-off process. This is a cycle. Here I have represented this as a cycle because it's a continuous process. So you start with the input, then you go on to analyzing the input, and then finally you make some decisions, and then you ship the product. Then again you go back to users, get the feedback. So this becomes a cycle. And as a product manager, probably I would say more than 50% of our time is usually, sorry, when I say us, I'm sure many of you are aspiring or student, but for those of you who don't know, for product managers, most of their time goes into this research because you're continuously talking to users, you're trying to speak to your support teams, you're trying to get the feedback, you're trying to gain as much information as possible about your product. Not just product, you're looking at competitor, you're looking at online trends, everything, right? So you're spending more than probably, I would say, 70% of your time around product research. So that's how I understand as a product research, and this is a simple three-step process. In case you guys are keen to understand, and I hope now everyone is on same page. Yeah, that's the process. Probably most of us are following. What do we do next, right? So what I'm keen to understand now is what are the sources of product research. So if you can share your thoughts in comment section. Wait, where did I lose it? I hope I'm still sharing because I can't see my screen for whatever reason. Yeah, okay. Right. So what are the sources of product research? So if you can share it in the comments again, I'm very keen to understand how do you source that product information. That's correct, Srijit. Feedback, customer feedback, user interviews. Very good. Are there any other sources? One way to think of also is look at B2B and B2C models. ChatGPT, survey, reviews, agree. Because B2C, B2B, AI tools, yeah, B2B, B2C are different business model, of course, and that's why you might find the feedback about your product somewhere else, or what are the pains your customers are facing. Ethnography is very good. NPS competitor study, right? Primary customer, right? So there's quite a few coming in. Primary customer buyer interviews, desk research, AI tool databases like Gartner. That's also very good. You can get a lot of things from Gartner. Competitor study, CSAT. Yeah, you reach out to your customers asking for CSAT survey. So surveys are really good. There are quite a few again. These are definitely a good list of things. Yeah, market trend study, exactly. Right. So I'll be now revealing the list of the full product sources that I kind of rely on, or probably rather than relying on, these are the things that I am aware of. Here's the full list, right? So customer interviews is number one. Of course, that I think B2C, B2B, whichever business model you take, you are certainly going to talk to your customers. So customer interviews is number one. Support tickets, support emails reveals lot of insights about your product. Either it could be pains about your problem, or either customers might be saying, it would be so nice if we had this thing, right? So that kind of gives insights into what other things you can build about your inside your product. Customer support chat is another. User surveys, I think most of you have already mentioned. Reddit and Quora, that's another one. Yeah, that's as a B2C, I think at least most of the B2C, you'll see a lot of people discussing about the product. And certainly one of the use case we are going to consider today is Reddit. So a lot of people actually discuss, and there are specific subreddits, or even within Quora, there are specific pages where there is a lot of information. If you have created page for your product, you'll see a lot of information being discussed. Trustpilot, Google App Store reviews. Yeah, these are the other things that you should also be looking at. I'm sure most of you are already looking at, but Trustpilot, Google, I have really looked at Trustpilot in my previous companies, but this is one area which will reveal a lot of information about your product or the complaints that customers or even what customers are saying about your product, right? YouTube, if you're again B2B, B2C, you'll see a lot of YouTube, and within, if you have your own YouTube product demos or product channel, you'll see a lot of comments. And similarly for social media comments, social media groups is also another interesting area. Yeah, so Facebook groups specifically, you can have build Facebook groups around your product if you're mostly B2C, and you'll see what are people talking about your product, and you'll see a lot of complaints, you'll see a lot of good things about your product people are talking about. Sales and customer support interviews, that's another area which will reveal a lot of insights, which is very much similar to customer interviews, and we are going to look at this case as well today. Next is CRM notes. I think this is more for B2B, but again, might happen for B2C. But there are a lot of notes that you will see your team is writing into CRM notes. Even if you're B2C, you'll see your agents, customer agents, or your customer service team writing a lot of notes. So you can derive insights from them. Lastly, I think events and conferences. This is again mostly for B2C. Again, you'll have cases where it will be for B2B as well, no doubt. So this is, I think, a comprehensive list, but not to say that these are the only one. You mentioned Gartner, that's definitely one. You can have G2, you can have Product Hunt. There are so many other things that you can keep. The list is long; it's just endless list. But that's source, and that's to tell you, as a product manager, it's humanly impossible for you to keep track of everything, right? You might be looking at taking customer interviews and probably one interview of a customer per week, and that's what I was doing. I was conducting one interview per week, and you might be now looking at not just customer interviews. There are support ticket, there is support chat, there is people are talking online about your product. So where do you keep track of all of these things, right? It's humanly impossible for any product manager to do it, and that's where I think this automation might come really handy. So let's go into the next step, which is trying to exactly what I just said. Product research. It's a manual. It's slow and error prone. So now just think about these steps for the people who haven't done product research or aspiring to be a PM. So you actually collect data from multiple sources. You manually read the interviews, reviews, tickets. You try to tag and categorize all the feedbacks into various themes because now you have a long list. You can't just take a long list and read through it. You want to categorize them, bucket them into a larger feature. Let's say payments is your team. So, or payment is one of the features. So you want to categorize everything under payment. You want to categorize everything under sign up. You want to categorize everything after, let's say, onboarding. So there are multiple uh, themes within your product that you want to categorize. So you will do that. You will also interpret all this vague and conflicting feedback because some of the customers might be really praising your one feature, while as another customer for the same feature might be complaining about that feature, right? So you want to now try to make sense of all of that. You want to summarize that insights in the usable format because you want to subsequently discuss this with your team. You want to take it to the stakeholders. So you want to make the summary of it. You want to organize that again in docs and spreadsheet. Align this with your roadmap or a backlog. You get them into backlog, and you certainly want to share it with your stakeholders team, just like I said, and justify again when you make the decision, justify that this is the data that we had, and based on that, we made some decision, right? So those are the kind of steps that any product manager would have to go through. Of course, it's not to say that every product manager exactly go through this step. You might have some different takes on this, but overall, that's the process, and it's a long-winded process. It takes much of your time as a product manager. Now, coming to the interesting part of it, which is automating a product research. So there is a huge opportunity, certainly with OpenAI in the last couple of years, automation picking it up. We have companies like Make.com and Attend, Zapier coming in. So which means now we have a huge opportunity. What it leads to is faster decision. Now, how these are the steps that I'll be even taking in the demo, and essentially you connect all the feedback sources. In our case, I'll be connecting interviews, support tickets, through email, of course, and then online forums, which is Reddit in our case. So the automation will automatically connect with, I mean, once it's configured, it will then try to pull all the information from these relevant places. It will automatically extract all the problems your customers are talking about, all the opportunities the automation might see based on that interaction, and it will group it into themes automatically. So you know that this is about payment, it will automatically group under the payment, right? So now you don't have to go and scatter and then find what theme this is against. So it will automatically group. It will bubble up all the high signal insights. Let's say there, when I say insights or signals here, signals are problems or opportunities here in the language I'm going to use here. So product signals are nothing but all the problems and opportunities. So it will signal up or bubble up all the high problems in a particular area. We will see how. And it will organize in a structured format. That's the whole plan of this, or how this automation is going to help you. So that as a PM, your focus is going to be on decision making, not actually digging through this raw data. Right? I hope that's really clear for everyone. Super. So having gone through that, let's move on to the next thing, which is what is an automation. Right? So concept is very simple. Most of you might already know, but if you have to think it in a simplistic way, it's if this happens, then do that, right? It's if and then condition. So if this happens, if there is this trigger, if something happens, then you execute the next set of instructions, right? Then you have a a more comprehensive step, which is again what I explained is simplistic. But if you look at full automation, it is set of steps. There is a trigger. There are set of steps that you take. There is a data that flows through this step, and finally you get a desired result. It's not as simple as what I've just said, but again, you might have some branches, you might have if and else conditions, you might have looping through each of these record, but essentially you have a trigger, you have set of action, the data passes through each of these, and then you have a desired result. And that's whole automation. What is AI automation? Now, because we have got OpenAI, there is a benefit that we can derive from OpenAI is getting that layer of AI intelligence. How? Let's say if there was no OpenAI, it would still be difficult for you to derive some insights from the raw data. So you get a text file. There's a lot of things that your customers have said. Now, automation can't simply go and pick the right insights, saying that this is the problem, this is the opportunity. With OpenAI, we are now able to combine the automation with intelligence of OpenAI and extract the right set of problems or the opportunities or whatever customer has said and whatever that you wanted based on the prompt that you would give to OpenAI. So that's where it becomes a layer of intelligence. I hope that's all clear for everyone. Awesome. So moving on next, we are again, like I said, I'm moving little fast because I'm conscious of time. I hope this is making sense throughout the sessions. And if you can give me a quick thumbs up, just so that I understand everyone is still with me. If you have got any questions, please feel free to add it into chat or Q&A section. It's very important for me to understand that you are with me till this point, because from now on, we are going to go a little more into technicalities. Awesome. So thanks, Vinay. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Somnath. Thanks for that thumbs up because it's important for me to know that you guys are with. Awesome. So let's go into a little more detail now, which is Make.com, right? So understanding Make.com is the Make.com is no code automation tool, automation platform, right? And here you see is a snapshot of it. Now, this is not the demo that I've built. I just wanted to show you because this is one of the simplest workflow. And once you understand this, I think it will be better for me to then take you into demo because you'll just get overwhelmed with the amount of nodes you might see. So if you look at this automation, I'll quickly explain. Just try to stay with me in this. The number one module is HTTP module. This for full workflow, sorry, is for publishing a post on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Right? How it does? Number one module is make a request HTTP. It will pull some news information from one of the news website that is configured. It will get that news information. It will pass it on to OpenAI, create a completion. This is to create that post. So this OpenAI will create a post. It will send it to the next module. The next module will look at the post based on the post to generate an image. So it will generate an image. So once that is complete, there is a post that is ready. That is there is an image that is ready. It will go into a router. The job of router is nothing but route this request or send this data to the next path, and it will do sequentially, which means the post text and the image will go to Instagram first. It will create a photo post as it says here. It will submit into Instagram. The post is published. It will then come down, go into Facebook, get the image, get the post, and it will submit. Next, it will come down and go into Pinterest and then submit a Pinterest, create a pin. So that's the workflow. That's a very simplistic way, but that's how you can think now. You see a module, you see connecting dots. That's how the data is going to flow, and finally, it will achieve the desired outcome. Few things before we get into a little more detail. These are the terminologies that you'll see in Make. Number one, scenario. What is scenario? Scenario is nothing but the workflow that you see. So this full workflow is referred to as a scenario. Because as we go in Make.com, you'll see these options of create a new scenario, check the list of scenarios, all of that. So scenario is nothing but a full, let's say there is a full project that you have done, which is a full automation, full workflow. That is referred to as a scenario. There is something called as app and module. What is app? Let's say in this case, Facebook is an app. So Make.com supports some 200, more than 2000 apps, right? Facebook is one of it. So Facebook is app, but within Facebook, you can do many things. You can create a post, you can delete a post, you can probably share a post, or there could be many other options. So each of that is called as a module. So within Facebook app, you will have create a post as a one module, delete a post as another module. That's just an example. Webhook. What is webhook? Webhook is nothing but a HTTP link that is exposed by Make.com so that something that is external to Make.com can invoke that automation. And we will be seeing that example in demo. So let's say I have a form page and I have filled the detail and I click a button in that form. I need that information to be passed over into the automation, right? Automation wouldn't have an interface in itself, as in there wouldn't be a form in automation. So a webhook is nothing but a hook, a web URL, which can be invoked externally. So when you click a button, it will invoke that automation and then automated automation will get triggered. So remember, webhook is one important part of the Make.com. Filters are nothing but if you look at these three dots or more than, sorry, three dots, it's just a connecting line, right? So there is this icon where you can click and filter down your data. So based on certain conditions, you can pass the data to the next module, and you can certainly omit some of the data. So you might say, if the count of this is greater than zero, make sure you go on to the next route. Or if the data matches this, then send it to the next router or ignore that data. So you might want to do a lot of uh, if else conditions within that, as in so that you can pass the right data to the next module and ignore the data which is not relevant. So you will use filters in that case. Routers, I think I just explained. Router is nothing but that's something that routes to the various branches, as we have seen here. The next one is tools. Tools is one of the app that is provided by Make.com. It's a built-in app. Within tools, you can do a lot of things like you can convert the text into different format. You can set a variable, get a variable. So there are a lot of things that you will want to do. Of course, this can get little advanced right now, but just be aware that there is something called as built-in tool. So you can manipulate the data, do a lot of things using the built-in tool. Next come iterator and aggregator. I think these are two most important, again, modules within Make.com. Iterator is nothing but think like a for loop, right? Let's say you've got 10 different collection or 10 different items coming from output of one of the module. Now you want to execute full branch for that each of the item. So you want to go into the first item, go on to Instagram, post it, go on to the second item, go on Instagram, post it. So you use iterator where it will then start iterating through each of the objects, and it will start doing the subsequent thing for each of the objects. So that's important. So that's iterator. So whenever you see iterator, think like a for loop, which means everything after that will be executed for each of the module. And lastly, there is something called as aggregator, which is exactly opposite of iterator. It will bring things together. So let's say you've got a collection of all the text in various, it's an array of text. So it's a iterator, and you want to combine all of that text into a single text so that you can create a post. So you kind of use text aggregator as a module and then bring them together and output that as a single text. So that's a exactly opposite of iterator. It unions or it kind of aggregates all the text together into a single text format. So that's the basic. I hope you are guys are able to follow because that's little more technical now, and I hope you are able to understand. Again, we will be going in demo. I'll be going step by step, so you should be able to understand most of it. And I'm really conscious about people who have never heard of Make.com. This can get little overwhelming, or it might be too much to consume in one short session. Yeah? But I hope you are with me. Awesome. So that takes us into the actual demo of product research system. And again, like I promised earlier, I'm not going to straight dive into the automation. I will give little more context so that you understand what is automation. Because again, if you see this system, you might think it's too big for the people who are new, of course. The scenario I'm considering here is you are a product manager of in a company called as Atlassian. You must be very well aware, and the product is Trello. For people who don't know Trello, Trello is like a to-do application that you might be using, but this is more for a project management. So in Trello, you predominantly use Kanban board, wherein you can move the task from to do to in progress. I mean, you have a backlog, you keep moving items, and then in progress, you mark it as done. Or you can configure it in a way you want, and you collaborate with your team and onto the projects, of course. It's much more comprehensive system than rather a simplistic to-do system. But think of it as a to-do for product management, project management. Why did I consider Trello? The reason is Trello is a classic example of not just only B2B or only B2C. It is kind of a combination of both. B2B because most of the businesses use it. At least I've seen a lot of startups using it. I do use Trello as well. And then I see a lot of B2C as well. People use Trello even to manage their to-do list. I was using it earlier. I've seen people using it. So you will see, in fact, discussions online on forum, and that's one of the use case we are going to consider. Because if I had taken B2B, I wouldn't have been able to leverage Reddit. If you take only B2C, then probably you might not be able to have as many customer interviews you would want and all of that. So I wanted to find a product which is a classic combination of B2B and B2C, and Trello is a very good example. So that's one thing, just so that you guys be aware of it. What are the product sources, research sources that we are going to look at today? I did mention this towards the start, right? So customer interviews is number one. So we will be using transcript.txt file. So which means assuming that interview is done, you are still going to talk to your customer and you've got the txt file now with you. Second, we'll be looking at Reddit forum. So automation will go and scrape the Reddit. There is a subreddit slash Trello. So it will go and find the information on slash Trello. And finally, it will also look at customer support ticket. It will go, assuming that the tickets are coming in email, because I didn't want to now extend this system to actually go in CRM. So I have built this to look into your emails and find the support tickets and then try to scan the content of that email to understand the problems and opportunities. Super. What are the modules I'll be using? Airtable I'm going to use as a database. Airtable is nothing but you can think about SQL, MySQL, whatever database. So it's very much similar. It's a table. It's set of tables. So one table we will store the basic research information that we'll be feeding to OpenAI, saying this is my product, this is my product information, this is what I need, right? Some of the information will be configured into the table. Or even what we want to do. We want to conduct interview, we want to do Reddit, we want to do support email. So all that configuration will be in this one table. Airtable is little more advanced. You can have checkboxes, you can have buttons. So I'll go there. Next is to capture problems and opportunities. Yeah, so we'll be using Airtable. So OpenAI will find all the problems and opportunities, and it will actually dump into Airtable, right? So we will keep that. And lastly, we'll also have another table called as themes, where you will see all the product signals are grouped into themes. So if there is onboarding within Trello and customer is talking about onboarding, the product signal or problem and opportunities, as I say here, will be grouped automatically into the right bucket. So that we will see. And system is going to be a little more intelligent. If it doesn't find the right theme, it will create a new theme. So we'll see that. Dropbox is what we are going to use to watch the interview TXT file. So if you've done the interview with the customer, you get the text file, you drop into that particular folder that we have configured, the automation will pick it up from there. OpenAI, already mentioned, it will derive all the insights from the raw data that we've got. Appify. The Appify is one interesting app that you should be looking forward to use. It is scraper. It's a no-code scraper, of course. You just need to use the right AI APIs or right apps within that API scrapers. It Interestingly, it offers $5 per month free of charge. You don't need to pay anything for that. And you should be able to find the right scrapers. I can show you later on how to find them. But you can find the right scrapers which are like, it will cost you at least not more than cent or 2 cents to execute that scraper, right? So you'll be able to find those scrapers and use them. And finally, we'll be looking at email. So I configured email. It will go in my support emails and get all the support tickets and scan it. So that's the modules I'll be using. Outcome, it will give you structured insights categorized by themes. You are not going to do any manual copy, pasting, reading, tagging, anything that you've been doing probably traditionally as you might have been doing till date. All right, so the time to jump into demo. I hope you guys are excited as I am. Give me a thumbs up, please, so that I understand you are there and you're looking forward to this. Drop few comments if you're enjoying this. Awesome. Cool. All right, so if you are still seeing my screen, there are quite a few demos I've built. So product research. Yeah, this is the system that I built. I will exactly explain what each of these things do. And that was the reason I didn't want to open this so that you might see so many circles and try to just make sense what is it all that. Now that I think you have little more understanding that all right, each of these are modules and they are connected by filters and there is data flowing between each of these. There is a webhook towards the start, so you know a little bit about this. I'll go into a little more detail, of course, but before that, I'll quickly introduce you to other tables tools that we'll be using. So this is nothing but Airtable. I have created this product research base. I did mention towards the start that we have three tables. Number one is research triggers, where you will have all the basic information about the research. So request title, what is this trigger about? The product name is Trello. It's a product description. And I've written this because we will be passing this information to OpenAI so that OpenAI understands what its job is going to be. So it's a visual project and workflow management tool that uses Kanban board to help our team organize and track progress and collaborate on projects. So in case you are going to use this automation for your own product, you will certainly need to configure this in a way that you explain your give your product brief description. As a product manager, what is going to be your focus area, right? So understand pain points and opportunities around onboarding, task collaboration, and board usability in Trello. So let's say this is my focus area as a product manager. So I mentioned that. Which are the sources I'm keen to tap on? So I want to include interviews. Like I said, in Airtable, you can have these checkboxes. So I'm going to say inter, I want to look at interviews. I want to look at Reddit. I want to look at support email. So these are the three different sources that I would want to tap in. And then further to that, you have a subreddit. So I've configured Trello subreddit into this. I've given this link, so it will be able to automatically go on that link and get the data. There is no keyword. This is optional, but in case you don't have specific, let's say, subreddit for your product, you can always type a keyword, leave this blank, and that scraper will only find based on that keyword, and it should still be able to work. But I'm not leaving. I've just left it here so that you guys are aware. We can always use that way. Range last 10 days. Now, for interviews, we don't need that because interviews, it is going to look at all the files in that folder. But Reddit and support emails, you can always configure saying just get the data for last 10 days because it might just be too much for automation to get into and start scraping for full year worth of data or something like that. So ideally, we would want to run this automation every week or something like that. So 10 days of worth of data is good enough. Like I mentioned, we can have buttons in Airtable. So I'll be able to click this. What happens is when I click this, I have configured this to use this URL, which means when you click this button, this URL will be invoked and it will pass the record ID of this table. So this is the webhook URL, the HTTPS URL from the make.com. I've used that and I've used the record ID, which means once I click this button, it will invoke this URL. Status is complete. As soon as I click run now, it will go in progress. This is nothing but a record ID. Even if you hide it, I mean, it's always hidden. So you don't, that's one thing you can ignore for now. Before we start the automation, few things to understand. Again, customer interview product research. This is the folder I have kind of configured. So when I run the research, rather let me do it now. So all these files, I'll be moving into new files. So what I've got here is there are 3 customer interviews and there are internal interviews with sales and support teams. So I've got all of them. This is of course a dummy data. And guys, just to be aware, this is all dummy data, right? This is nothing to do with Trello. This is nothing to do about how Trello product is. In fact, I'm one of the users of Trello. I enjoy it. So if you see any problems mentioned about Trello, don't think that there are really problems with Trello, right? So whatever you see, it's a dummy data. Just so that you are aware of this, yeah. So these are the 5 files we've got inside it. Next, this is one of the sample files that I've created. So it's an interview transcript as you might get from Zoom. So it's me saying, "Hi Priya, I'm Abilash. I'm lead product for this platform, and I'm here to understand your experience, what's working well, what's not, what could we do better, all of that." And then Priya goes about explaining all. So that's all dummy data that I've created. Uh, this is Apify, right? And you can still see I've been using this for over a month, and I am still left with more than $1, right? And it gets a reset every month. So that's absolutely fine. I'm going to use Reddit Scraper Lite for today's session, but you can see that there are so many scrapers. I have built a scraper for one of the company where I scrape uh, jobs, LinkedIn jobs. I also look at getting some Trustpilot reviews, all of that, right? So you have got huge, good number of scrapers available that you can leverage from FI. Oh, just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Next, I've created some support emails, support ticket emails, so that I can demo you to you guys. And this is like example of one of the support ticket, right? So you've got a subject with support ticket. Hi Trello team, I've been trying to do blah 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 whatever, and then best regard John, right? So John has explained all the problems that he's facing. So that's just one of the examples. And the automation is actually going to go through all the inbox that I've got, and it is going to find the right tickets with this subject and then get the insights into it. Other thing to be aware that certainly we are going to need credits, so you will need to recharge your OpenAI account as Vishal might have already mentioned. So whenever you want to use it, maybe after the session, you need to make sure that there is a $5 credit minimum you'll need to use this, because unless that, the OpenAI is going to error out unless there is a credit. How much is the cost of running all of this automation? I'll come to that part later. Yeah. So let's get started now into the actual meat of this session. So this is the workflow. I'm going to quickly explain so that you don't get lost. So first, this is the webhook that will get invoked from Airtable as soon as I click with the button run now. It will go into Airtable. It will get the product research basics. It will update the record to saying it's in progress rather than complete. Then it will fetch the themes that I've got. Right. I think I missed the themes part, right? So this is the theme. So currently I've got onboarding and task management. So the description is because this is what we are going to even pass to OpenAI. The problem and opportunities related to onboarding or problem and opportunities related to task management. And currently there are zero problems and zero opportunities because this table is empty. In Airtable, you can actually link the record of different table, like of course you can do with any database. So here I have configured themes as one of the table. So yeah, so you can link to the product themes. So every record in here will be linked with the record in this, which is order management or task management. And as I mentioned, automation will create a new theme in case it finds something which is not related to these themes. All right, so let's get into automation. So it will pull all the themes. I have put sleep so that I can explain you. You can see because if I don't put sleep, it will just go very quickly and it will be very difficult for you to understand what's going on. And after that, there are three routes. Sorry, the four routes, in fact. So first route is for processing that interview file. So it will get the file, download the file. It will send that to ChatGPT, all the content. It will then get the content and then iterator. So iterator is nothing. If there are 10 opportunities or problems it finds, it will now going to execute this 10 times, which means it will go and find the theme. If the theme is not that, it will create a new theme and then create a record. If the theme is already existing, it will just dump the new product signal. So that's the number one route. It will execute as many times as there are files. So if there are five files, this will execute five times. Then it will finish. So when the way router executes it will finish the first branch, then it will go into the second branch. So it will come and go into Apify and pull all those posts, and then it will send to OpenAI, and then it will pull all the data again, dump it into the database. If theme is not found, it will create a theme. It will then submit that product signal. If the theme is already there, it will just create the product signal. Lastly, it will go into the email. If there are five emails found, it will then subsequently execute all of these five times. So it will send that email to ChatGPT. Then again, uh, sorry, not ChatGPT, OpenAI. OpenAI might say there are four problems that it has found. So it will iterate through four problems and create four different records based on whether there is a theme or not. The theme is not there. And finally, once all four three branches are executed, it will go back in Airtable and update the status as complete. Here it had updated as in progress. Now it will, because it has completed automation, it will go back and update this status as complete. Yeah, that's the whole workflow. So let's get started. The way to start is first, of course, because it's a demo, it's not running. You can configure it as immediately as data arrives, but I want to start it with running once, right? So it's waiting. As you see, it's waiting for data to come in, and I hope I have configured everything correct. I don't want the demo to fail for whatever reason. That's always a high chance, but yeah, let's risk that. All right, so I've clicked run now. It's accepted. You see the status changed to in progress. If I go back here, it has executed few steps already. Yeah, it has went up in this direction. It is getting first file. You can see there were five files it had found: bundle one, bundle two, bundle three, bundle. So there were five files it managed to find. It downloaded first file. It went into OpenAI, and it is creating those many records. So theme is already existing, so it created four records, but it did not create a new theme because all the insights it got was already present. Now it is going to download the next file, sending to the chat GPT. Yeah, I'll keep it probably at this zoom level. It is finding quite a few records. It is updating them. Again, most of them are already there. It did not have to create a new theme. So it went ahead, created nine records till now. It went back, downloaded the third file. It has sent the content of the third file to OpenAI. Now it is creating the records based on another products or opportunities it has found. I think again, no chance it's creating any new theme. It is just using the existing theme because it did not find anything that has come outside that theme. Number four, downloaded fourth file. It went here. It's just creating records. Oh, awesome. So it managed to find one problem, or now second. So it managed to create two new themes. We will see what are they. And it created two themes, two product signals, opportunity or problem, whatever, under that new theme. It is now going on to the last file, which is fifth file. Going in here, 20 records, 21. It found new theme, so it created third theme and categorized that problem into that theme. 21 problems, three themes, and it has finished that into process folder. And now it has come to Apify. So it is now going on Reddit. So it has done the work about scraping all the interviews. Now it is going, not scraping, but actually going through that interviews. Now it's scraping online onto the Reddit. Now just be mindful, because it's an online scraper, it's not 100% reliable. So if I run this now, you might get five records. If I run after a few minutes, it might just get one record. If I run another after 1 hour, it might give two records, three records, or 10 records. We don't know. That's little bit, uh, unpredictable at times. But at least it's better to have something rather than nothing. So we'll get to know how many records it managed to fetch. Awesome. So at least we got two records. It has fetched two records, and it created a new theme, and the second there was a theme, so it already got it into the existing theme. Emails, it went into one email already while we were talking. It managed to create records, so it's going into second email. Now it's going into third email. So it executed chat OpenAI for third time. It went there. It created insights, and it finally finished the full automation in, I think, less than 3 minutes. And here you have Airtable record updated. Now let's go and let's see what have we got for us to look at. So the status was in progress. With the last step, it managed to mark it as complete. If I go in product themes, we only had onboarding and task management. It found a new problem where it was the user was comparing with new competitor. So it managed to create a new competitor comparison. So we'll look at all of it again. It found few or one problem where user was talking about the user interface. One was talking about automation, and one was talking about board usability. Now you might, as a product manager, say, "Oh, this is the same theme. I should probably have categorized. It should have categorized under task management." So you have to still come here and do that slight refinement. Changing that theme to right one. But again, it has got everything on its own. So let's see what you see here. So here you clearly now see the full database of how many 32 problems or opportunities that the OpenAI managed to figure out. So summary is what is coming from OpenAI. OpenAI summarize, this is the problem, this is the summary. So we can let's take a look at one. But before that, I'll just quickly show you columns. You've got a signal type, which is problem or opportunity. You've got a right theme it has connected to. You know where it is coming from, whether it's interview, whether it's online forum like Reddit, whether it's a support ticket. So it has automatically classified all of these tickets into the right bucket. It has also managed to find what was user actually saying in that, because there is a summary, but you would want to know what is the actual text or actual raw text that user is talking about. So it will look at this and get that information as well in it, which is the source snippet. It will tell you which file it actually came from, so that you can go back and look into inside that file in case you want. For online forum, because there is no source title, but it will still get the actual Reddit ka source link. And then finally, it will also get your support ticket subject of that email ID, so that you know which email this is coming from. And yeah, date capture, that's fine. So this is all the information that it manages to get. If I have to look at one, let's say if I look at this one, so I can, in Airtable, I can open this way. I can quickly read through. So we'll just take a minute to understand how it has managed to get it. So manual tracking of task dependency leading to the need for separate document for dependency management. This is the summary. What was user saying? So it was interview with Michael, and Michael was saying, if task B can't start until task A finishes, I want relationship visible. Right now, it's all manual. I keep separate document to track dependencies. So now you understand that user is really talking about this pain. And if you are a product manager looking to make some changes in this area, there are some insight that you would want to take care of, right? Uh, if you go on to the next, there is opportunity. So you can open this and see desire for more integration, specifically with Notion and Slack to streamline update across platforms. So this was for Michael. He was saying, honestly, more integration. We live in Notion, Slack. Right now, I have to manually update things across all the platforms. If Trello could push status updates to Slack or sync notes from Notion, that would be a big win. So now you know that this is not a problem. This is an opportunity that you can tap on. And the best part, you have this product signal. You clearly have a count of all those problems or opportunities within each bucket. So you, as a product manager, know that you have 14 insights that have come in, and you can click on any of these, let's say, and you see all of those problems. You can click one of the problem and read about it. You can go on to the next one, and you have now got full set of problems or opportunities within each of these theme that you have configured, right? Wherever the theme wasn't configured, let's take one example, user interface, right? Or even automation. Let's take automation because that's what we are doing. So automation is theme it automatically managed to create. It's a problem and opportunity is related to automation. So it automatically created the description. It found one where user was talking. User desired automation feature within the tool to streamline workflows like automatic Slack message when tasks are completed or tasks assigned to members in comments. This is opportunity. It was through the interview with Priya Mehta. So Priya was saying, I was actually looking for way to automate some of our workflows, like when task is marked complete and send a Slack message, or when someone is assigned, or to tag them in the comments. So here you are now getting more insights because now OpenAI is helping you find the opportunities, not just problems. And even there might be cases where people will talk about some competitors, and you will clearly come across like this. So the user was saying Monday.com and ClickUp come up a lot. They highlight features like automation rule and visual board. We lose deals there, especially when teams need something beyond basic task tracking, right? So these are the kind of things that you can now get through automation without you having to go into any of these documents. You did not even have to open a document. You did not have to go on Reddit. You did not have to go into your support team. This is all automation doing its job, pulling all the insights and creating this for you. In fact, you can build interfaces like I've done here. So as a product manager, I have now a nice interface. I can look into each of these. I can look into these products, all the problems. I can click and get into the details. And certainly I can print this page or this page and take it to the team when I'm discussing or if I'm ideating with my team. So I can do all of this now possible because OpenAI and automation has managed to get all those insights. So that's the full system that I've just demoed. I hope that made some more sense. What can we achieve? This is only limited by our imagination because we've just tapped into uh, custom interviews, Reddit, and email. You can extend this to your Trustpilot reviews, Google reviews, and just think about this case, right? As a product manager, you might not be looking at all of these sources. You might be missing some crucial information. You might be only taking customer interviews. Now, there is a whole system which just runs automatically and gathering all the insights and throwing at you. It's only up to you to how much you want to consume or how you want to use them for your at your discretion. But there can be a system which can run let's say every week and gather all the insights and send that data to you. I hope that made sense. I'm keen to hear any thoughts, early feedback, comments you've got, just so that I understand if that made sense. And did you like what you see, or what has been your impression with this automation?
Abilash, there are a few of the questions in the chat box. Maybe we can look after it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Siddhi has asked, I'm curious to know, does this help in deriving insights from all these themes, or can we set up a flow for these insights? If you can just check on the chat box, yes, yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's in chat box because I was looking in Q&A. Sorry, come again. What was that? Yeah, curious to know. Does this help in deriving insights from all the themes, or can we set up a flow for the insights? Yeah, so you can now think about extending this workflow after this, right? So once it's populated with all the data, now you can say you can run either extend this automation to say that all the themes are populated. The next step is go into all the themes and find one theme which I should be looking at because there are a lot of problems, right? So you can kind of extend this system, create new system, create new automation, but it can now be easily extended to derive more insights from the insight that you've already gotten. I hope I've answered that question, but that's certainly possible. Is it? Let me share. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. For startups, is there anything better than this? Again, when you're starting new, you probably might have bandwidth to look at all of these details, but again, you will be probably looking more onto online. I would always think this as for, you know, product which has, let's say, achieved a good amount of product market fit, and there are a lot of reviews, which then makes it difficult for you to keep track of as a product manager. So it might help in that cases. But again, for startups, there's no harm. You can always configure a system like this, which will keep bringing you insights. You don't need to actively go on Facebook. You don't need to actively go on Reddit. It will just keep pulling the insights and throwing at you, and based on that, you can make some informed decision. Uh, Again, I'm not able to keep track of question. Vishal, it would be good if you can take one question at a time, or because there's quite a few. I'm going to actually now demo or build this automation in front of you guys, not the full system. I'm going to take next half an hour or 45 minutes, because it is going to take at least 40 minutes for us to build the automation, the very first part of it, which is customer interviews. So either we park the questions till the end. I have got a FAQ
We
slides,
can,
so some of the
we can.
questions might get in.
Abilash, we can take the questions in the Q&A. Guys, I requesting you all to please keep your questions ready and draft it in the Q&A box. Chats, we can do some discussions, but please utilize the Q&A box for putting up questions. Thank you so much for understanding. All right, Abilash, you can
Awesome.
go ahead.
Thank you. The next is going back to our slides, going back in full screen. So that's the demo done. How much time can automation save? Ideally, if I look at what I was doing earlier, so I was doing four interviews, one interview every week. So in a month, probably four interviews, which meant I would be analyzing four interviews. Easily, I was spending 1 hour per week. So that's 4 hours. Analyzing online reviews and forums, if you are doing it, you're probably spending 2 hours throughout the week, like 30 minutes per week even. Analyzing your support tickets now, that's probably humongous data. You will end up spending a lot of time, and most of us, in fact, I wasn't doing that very actively. You need to analyze all the support tickets, so that could take you up to 4 hours. Now, capturing all of that insights, structuring them together, it can take another couple of hours. Writing the summary, sending it to the so that it's something that you can share with the team, it can take another hour. So probably you're looking at minimum spending 15 hours just doing it manually against this automation that I built. With this automation, you'll probably just spend 30 minutes to see the data looks right, the themes are correct. If the theme is not right, I might want to change the theme. But that's a very light review you might want to do. And the automation is very intelligent, because once you create under the right theme, it's probably next time going to get into the right theme. It won't start creating new themes every time, or even if it creates, it's a light review. Finally, writing that summary is not going to take long time, because the reports you can already create. I've already created. You can create many more reports in Airtable or whichever way you would want to. And this also works nicely with any reporting tool. So if you are using BI or some reporting tool, Make.com supports that. So you can dump all the data into the reporting tool as well. So which means you are going to save a lot of time in that case as well. So you got 10 to 15 per hours per month saving. That's around 75% reduction in your manual effort. But most importantly, as a product manager, it will lower your cognitive load, because you're not now going to dig into read every possible interview, read every possible support ticket. It's going to lower your cognitive load. It will help you make faster decision, and in turn, it will help you improve your time to market, because now you're able to make faster decisions, which means you are able to quickly iterate through your product and then get it out. Yeah? So that's the thing. What we are going to do next is build the automation step by step. So again, I will be showing you, I'll be sharing my screen and I'll be doing it. And I would want you guys to just watch it for this session, because it's going to be very difficult for you to go step by step, get configuration done and everything. So that's what I've done is I have created a step by step Notion doc. I will want you guys to try this automation after this session. Go through that step by step, build that automation. If you think that it's worth for your time, go build it. And if you face any challenges or problems, just connect me over LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to help you with getting it sorted. So build this automation, the one I'll be demoing now. The goal is to understand how it works all together, so that you can build this workflow and more extended workflows even going forward after this session. That's the whole goal. Right. So let's go and start building the automation. So I'll explain exactly step by step. I'll be creating a new scenario from very much scratch. I'm going into make.com, and we are now going to go back. And like I said, these are all different scenarios. I'm going to create a new scenario, right? Let's search. Let's say this is masterclass. automation. Yeah, that's just a name so that I understand what this workflow is about. Few things again to understand. We'll be using a different database, so we don't need database. I have created another database because this is going to be a smaller subset of that automation. So the automation is not going to be full-fledged looking at Reddit, looking at email. It is we are building the automation which will look at the interview transcript file. So it will still be looking into these files. So let me get into so all the files which were processed were moved into process folder. So I'm going to get all of those files, move into the new files. And the way this automation is going to work is number one difference is there is not going to be trigger to execute this automation. I wanted to give you a different flavor, which means the automation will automatically trigger when you drop the file. So if you drop this file into this folder, the automation will automatically get triggered. Right? That's a different flavor of automation. So we will be building that. It will download that file, get the content, send it to OpenAI. It will do all of that stuff. It will use this database to create product signals and product themes. The other difference in this automation, because again, like I said, that building that full system will take us more than definitely 1 to 2 hours, even that one path. So I've slightly cut down so that you get the gist of it and you understand how it's working. The other thing to be aware is it's not going to create a new theme. It is going to group anything that is not related to onboarding and task management into something called as others. So that's the theme it will be using. So all the product signals will be either marked to onboarding, task management, or others. That's one difference to be aware. And yeah, OpenAI we will be using as it is. We won't be looking at Epify or emails. So that's great. We are good to get started. So this is important for you to understand so that you can start building whenever you want to, how you build it. So first thing we want to do is get the Dropbox because we are going to watch for the new file. So whenever there is a new file, we want this automation to execute. We are not starting with the Webflow. Sorry, we're not starting with the webhook. We are starting with the Dropbox. When do we want to execute? Whenever there is a watch, a new file comes into this folder, we want automation to get triggered. Now, when you start it, you might be having no connection established. So what it will show you is it will show you this screen by default. So nothing, you just need to connect to your Dropbox account. So I'm not sure if you can see the pop-up, but it is going to ask you to connect to your Dropbox account. Once you've connected to your Dropbox account, then it will automatically populate the Dropbox connection. I'm going to leave the folder search method as select. Uh, Again, this might feel like, oh, that is too many details. How do I remember? So this is the thing, right? So I'm going to share with you all this file. This is the automation that we are going to build in this today's session. It helps you understand exactly each step, OpenAI, what you need to do, Dropbox, what you need to do, make.com, how do you create accounts, and then step by step, how do you then go about building module one, module two, module three, module four, right? So we are at now module one, and I'm going to exactly do the steps that are explained there. I don't need to keep going back and forth. It might just confuse you, but you know that all the steps that I'm going to talk about are mentioned in this document. In that document, you will receive from Vishal, so don't need to worry on that. Folder path. So I'm going to click this folder. This will populate all the folders available in my Dropbox. So I'm going to say that this is the folder and I want to watch a folder called as new files. So whenever there is a file inside new files, it should automatically pull. How many files? I just want to limit it to one. I just want to read one file at a time. Right? So I click save. It just asked me very first time that where do you want to start from? Do you want to start from specific date, files coming from specific date, or from now onward? I'll just say from now onwards, whenever file comes in, just get started. If I run this, it's not going to get any output. Here you don't see a file name because there is no file inside it. One thing to be aware, there is no auto save in make.com. So every time you add module, every time you make changes, make sure you press Control S or Command S or whichever machine, either Mac or Windows, but make sure you save every time manually, right? That's one thing to remember because I had tough time building whole automation, refreshing the screen just to realize that nothing was saved, right? So be aware of that part. So now that I have created first module, I will just drop this file in the new files folder. And if I execute this, I can either run from here, or if you want to execute only one module, you can always right click and say run this module. If I run this, it should pick that file now. Cool. So you see earlier the operation was blank. Now you have something in operation. It managed to file this, download this, not download, but actually get the content of file to some extent. It got me the name, it got me the path, but nothing else. I need the content of this file. So what do? I need to download this file. So I click plus. So as soon as I click plus, it opens a new option for me to add a new module or app. So I select Dropbox as app. Within Dropbox, which module do I select? I select download the file. Right. So now I don't have to create the connection again. It will by default be added. I don't need to worry. Ways of selecting path, I will just say map the file path. How do I map the file path? I want to map it from the previous out. So I click here. As soon as you click, so this is something for you guys to remember, is throughout the make.com. This comes very handy. You click inside and it will give you all the output of the previous modules. In our case, it was just one module. So it will give me output of previous module. And I just need to see where is the file path. So file path is here, path lower. So I'll just select that. As soon as I click it, the name will appear and it will be able to download that file. Now I won't be able to execute this module only because if I execute, it's going to ask me for path lower and all of that because it needs that input from previous module. So what I'm going to do, Control S, save, like I just said, and I'm going to run this. Now what happened? It did not execute download file because there was no new file. It assumes that previous file was already processed because it's going to watch for only for the new file. The trick is going to be, because I don't want to keep dragging and dropping every time, I'm just going to add a space in this file for now, right? So now I've added, which means the file is modified, which means make.com should be able to recognize this as a new file. So it found that file and then it went on to download that file. If I click, these are called as bubbles. So if you see this bubble and you click that the output bubble, you'll see the actual output. So you'll see the data has also been downloaded now, but problem is it's not readable. Right? It's a binary, it's a byte array, so you can't use this data and pass it to OpenAI. So what you need to do first is you need to change this into readable text format. How do you do it? You click plus button, you go on to tools. So tools is what I was telling you. It's a built-in module and it has got loads of things you can do to manipulate data and many other things. We will be using convert the encoding of the text. So input data is this. So again, when I click, it will give me all the previous modules. Which one I'm supposed to select? Where is the input? Input is coming from this data. So I select this. Input data code page is optional and you don't need to because the module will automatically recognize the encoding for the incoming data. We need to provide output encoding what we want it as. We want it as UTF-8, right? So that's the encoding we want to give. And now let's see. Save, run. If I execute, it won't execute because this is the end tool, as in it will just say transformer should not be the last, but we are still building the workflow. So it'll stay done anyway, but it won't execute again because the file it has already processed. So I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go here and I'm going to remove this space, right? And just so that you are aware, we are going to read this interview and get all the problems and opportunities mentioned by Priya in this interview. Let's see if we are able to now get this data, actual data. So I go back here, I run this once. We have modified the file name, so it should be able to pick. Managed, it downloaded the file and it actually converted the encoding. So what is the output of this data? Awesome. So you see now you've got a exact content of the file. So you see that make.com has managed to download that file and read full content of that file. Awesome. So what's next? Next, we want to, of course, send it to OpenAI. But before we send it to OpenAI, we need to also tell to OpenAI what is the product, the Trello, the product description, what is my focus area. We will also need to tell these are the themes. So there are a few things we need to do before we finally invoke the OpenAI. So next, I'm going to look at, let me just make sure that I'm not missing any modules. So module one we did, which is correct. To download the file encode. Exactly. So next is the Airtable. This is the module four. Now we are going to, so we are going to search for Airtable as an app. I click Airtable. Within Airtable, there are a couple of modules. I'm going to look at search record. right? So it will ask me for, again, same thing. If you're connecting it for first time, it will ask, how do you want to connect? Then you select OAuth. OAuth is nothing but it will take you to authentication page. You log into you with your credential and it will automatically pull that data. Once that is done, then you select the base. The base in my case is going to be customer research interview product research DB, which I've just shown you here. This is the database we want to connect to. Which table do we want to connect to? We want to connect to product research info, right? And we want to pull all the data, as in all the rows, because we just have got one row, and we want to limit that to one row. Because we are working on one product, we just want it to get for the only one product, and we will select all. We want all the columns, right? So once that is done, if I save this, now this module does not have any dependency on any of the previous module. It does not need that file name. It does not need any of the data from file. So I can run this independently. So I'll just run this module, and you'll see this Trello research, and then you have status, which is new, product name Trello, product brief description. So it has managed to pull all the details from that first row. Awesome. What's next step? We want to now pull all the themes because we are going to send to OpenAI three things, right? Product signal, product themes, and then we will be sending that full document. So we've got the document, we've got the product signal. Now we are going to get the theme. So I go back to a table, and I say search records. Because we have already created the connection, it will automatically connect that to the right connection. I select base as customer base. I go into the table. I select product themes. And what columns do I want? I just want product theme and description. And I just click save. Now, if I run this, because again, this is independent module, I should be able to get it. Awesome. So I can see there is a task management, there is a description of that, there is onboarding description of that, and there is others. So we have got three records, which is perfect. Now the thing is, when I'm sending it to OpenAI, if I run OpenAI after this immediately, it's going to, like I said, if there are three records, it is going to, this is an iterator. The output of this is actually collection. So it will execute OpenAI for first, it will execute OpenAI for second, it will execute OpenAI for third. We don't want that. We want to club this and send it to OpenAI saying, this is the document, this is the product information, and finally, these are the themes. So we want to club the themes into a single text. And that's where your text aggregator is going to come in play. Module, we are looking at the previous module, which is search record, right? How do we want to combine the text? We want to have a theme name. We want to have theme description. We want to have a new line character, which means when this output is aggregated, you will have theme and theme description. Then there will be a line break. Then there will be theme description, so that when we give it to OpenAI, OpenAI can make sense of it. Yeah. So I'm going to, as soon as I click into this, it gives me product name, not product. I want themes. So I'm going to look at theme. I'll click theme. Of course, it's just going to show me the recent record, so don't worry about it. We just click theme name, then we click hyphen, then we click description. And then I will say new line. How do you say new line? If you write new line, it's just going to print new line. So you need a variable as a new line. So you type slash and type new, it will give new line. So I've explained this exact steps in all of this, including the screenshots. So how do you get new line? You can see, you slash ne, you type, you'll get new line, you create new line. So you'll see all the details in here. So you don't need to worry about what I'm doing right at the moment. All I want you guys to understand is how do you go about building the automation overall. So you do this. I'll just give a space after hyphen so that there is a clear distinction. This is theme name space, or you can give colon, whatever you want to, and save. So let's see the output of this. Yeah. Now I can't run this because it will need the input from this, and I can't run both of them together. I need to run full workflow. I've saved the workflow. If I click run new, it's not going to run because I need to change the file name again. So I'm just going to introduce a space. I go back here and I run it once. I'll say run anyway. It's running. So here, of course, you've got all the product, the one product that we wanted, the information, but themes. If you look here, there were bundles of themes, as in there were three themes. Now here, it's a single text. So there is a task management problem opportunity. Then there is Because we introduced new line, it did not start immediately here. The next theme has come on the next line, onboarding. Then the third theme has come on this, right? So this is one single text. Now we can easily pass this on OpenAI, and OpenAI wouldn't execute 5 times. It will just execute once because there is only one record. What happens next? Are we missing on any? Just want to make sure that, yeah, perfect. There is nothing. We are just going straight into OpenAI. Awesome. This gets interesting here. So OpenAI, how do you connect OpenAI? First, which one do you suggest select, right? Because there are so many. I'll be honest, I haven't used any of these. As in most of these, I've just used create completion is what you'll be using most of the time, and generate an image in case you need to generate an image. Rest of them you might not have to unless there is some specific scenarios that you come across. What will complete create a completion prompt will do? It will exactly do what you do in ChatGPT. You give the input and it will give you the output. That's all it will do, right? Based on your request. So that's what we are going to do. So we are going to take this. Now I have already connected OpenAI here. How do you go about connecting? I'll quickly mention this to you. So you click add, you will see this open connection name. You need to give open API. There is no login here. You don't have to authenticate or login. You need to give API key. How do you give that? So you go in your OpenAI account. So if that's your account, you go into settings. Once you come into settings, then you go first into, of course, billing, see if you got balance. If not, you add your credit balance to this. And then finally, you've done that, you come to API keys. I've got so many APIs, but you can create a new secret API. And once you create, let's say I'll just say test one. So if I create, this is going to be only one time, right? So make sure you copy this and keep it somewhere safe because once you close this pop-up, you are not going to be able to access it again, right? So click this and either store it somewhere safe or just copy it and get straight into make.com and paste it there. But if not, then you won't be able to open this again ever. So even if you go in edit, it doesn't give you access to the key. So now I'm going to delete that, of course. Yeah, revoke the key. So that's gone. So I'm going back here. If I don't have to paste all of that because I've already configured one of the key. So once you do that, you will be able to have the connection with OpenAI. Model, which model do you select? That's interesting one. There are so many models to select from, and you might be aware even in ChatGPT you've got so many models to select from. Of course, the 4 one is going to outperform, and but it's going to be expensive as well. Mini is a good system, as in a good wherever you see mini, O3 mini, O4 mini, it's quite cheaper to use. For some reason, I mean, that's one we are supposed to use, but for some reason, my automation kept failing on that. I tested multiple things. I tried 4.0 mini, it was a little more expensive. So I managed to go into GPT 3.5 Turbo. It turned out to be one of the cheapest and works wonderfully, wonderfully well. You can give good amount of text. It still has maximum token of 2048. So you can give, I think, document up to length of 10,000 words. Sorry, 10,000 characters. So it should work all fine. Or words probably. I'm mixing up here. But it can take very lengthy document and it works absolutely perfect. I haven't seen. I mean, unless you want really a deep level of research and all that, you might want to use different one. But for this automation, 3.5 absolutely works wonder. So I'm going to use that. What you need to do is you need to give two prompts. One is a system prompt and one is the user prompt. There are three different types of prompt, but I wouldn't use anything else. I would always use system user. So let's go with the system prompt. So what is the system prompt? System prompt is where you give a very high level context to your OpenAI. Now this is where it's going to be interesting. So please pay attention what I'm going to do. And this is what you will be doing if you are going to build this automation after this session, right? So going to step-by-step document, I have created this prompt here. So you copy this full prompt, go in your make.com and paste it here, right? So I'm going to quickly read what it is. You are a senior product research assistant for the product. What is the product? This is the product name. It will dynamically pull from. Again, this is, if you see it in black color, which means it's not referring to the right one. So I need to delete this. Where is the product name coming from? The very first table, if you remember, right? Which is the search record that we executed. So I'm going to select this one product name. So when it executes, it will actually replace this by the value. So it will say you are senior product researcher, assistant for product fellow. Here is product description. So I'm just going to delete that description and select this one. So it understands. Then here is your focus area of research. So I'm going to select this one, which is where we have said understand the pain points about task management, blah, 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 all of that. Your job is to read user interviews and support transcript and extract structured product insight that help the product team improve the experience. Focus on identifying problems user face, opportunities for enhancement, and how do they relate to key product themes. You must map each insight to a theme. Use the given theme list as a reference. If none of the themes match, map the insight to the theme called others. Right? That's what we are going to say. In the previous system where it was creating a new theme, the only difference was the instruction was if none of the theme matches, just create a new theme. Right? That's the only difference. And OpenAI was able to create a new theme. Be objective, concise, avoid duplication, return all insights in a structured JSON format. Right? That's the first prompt. Second prompt we are going to give is the actual user prompt. User prompt is which is more granular, which is more about the actual task with the actual details. So in this case, it will be the actual data of the document. So I'm going to go here back. You can read through all the steps. It's exactly the same steps I'm following. I'll paste this. So here is the transcript text. So again, you see it's not a solid box. It's blue but not solid, which means we are referring to wrong one. So you can go here. The data is what's the file download, convert the encoding. Yeah, we converted the data. The actual data is here. So I'm going to select that, which means here your text in transcript, which will replace and get the whole text. Here are the current product themes you should use to classify the insights. Where did we get the themes from? We kind of aggregated them somewhere, and we aggregated outside as part of text aggregator. So the output of this should be that theme. So I selected that, and I do mention that do not create new themes outside this list, right? So classify everything as others. We have already mentioned. Please extract product signal from this conversation in following format. So eventually we want to get this in a JSON format. JSON is your JavaScript objection notation. It's easier for us to store in database for people who are not aware of this. But it's very important that we get in JSON format. So we give this, how do we want the format? We want signal summary, a clear and concise problem and opportunity. Theme is use an existing theme from the list if matches. If not, right. So this is what I don't want to give. Create a new theme. So even in that steps document, you might want to change. If not, map it to theme named others. Yeah. So that's the thing. Theme description, use the existing theme description. If using, if creating the, we don't want them to create the new theme. So yeah, use the if because we don't want to say if because they are going to reuse the existing. So yeah, that's the thing. So you will be using others and you will be using the existing themes. Product signal type either it could be problem or opportunity and source snippet. This is important, right? So here we'll say original text snippet from the transcript where user mentions about this problem or opportunity and return the result as a single JSON array named signals like this. So we are actually giving them the format. We are giving the OpenAI actual the format that we are expecting it in. So you have signals, which is array. You have signal summary. In the first object, you'll have signal summaries, theme description, signal type, source snippet. And because this is going to be array, it's going to repeat this. So if you have 5 record, it manages to find, it will keep 5 records as part of that collection. So I think I've completed that. Yeah, keep the tone neutral, factual, respond only with valid JSON. Do not include, this is very important, guys. Just make sure you are aware of this, that do not include any markdown explanation or extra characters like JSON because you just give this much information, it is going to add something at the start saying this is JSON format. So you don't want ChatGPT to, or sorry, OpenAI to output any of those characters. You just want plain and clear JSON file. Let's actually run to see how it looks. So I'm going to run this once. Again, I think I'll need to change the file first. I go back here, quickly go back. I modify the file name. Let's save. Yeah. And then I go back here and I'll run this once. Managed to download the file, editable, got the records, got the themes, sent to OpenAI. Yeah. So let's first look at what has it sent to OpenAI. So as an input, you'll see first it sent the prompt. System prompt, it exactly did what we told. You are a senior product researcher assistant for product Trello. Here is the product description. Here is your focus area. It managed to get everything from the database. And your job is to do blah blah blah. Goes on to let's go on to the user. Here is the transcript text. So it managed to get all the interview text with Priya as a customer. And here are the current product themes you should use to classify. So it has got all that text. And then it went on to saying, do not create new themes outside this list and give me the output in this format. So let's see what is the output now. So I come in here, I go into bundles, then I go into the output bundle. And if you expand this result, you should see that. So OpenAI managed to nicely get everything into signals, signal summary, the first signal, which is lack of clear onboarding steps, or the theme is onboarding, theme description is this, signal type is this, source snippet is this, all of that, right? So source snippet, it managed to find actually what the user was talking about. Subsequently, all of them. So you see there are three or four, or three, I think three product signals it managed to find. If you notice, this is still in long string. So this is a JSON format, which is great. But if you notice, this is still a string. It's not actually JSON. So you can't dump this directly into database. You need to segregate this by record by record. So that's where we are now going to add another step, which is parse JSON. Right. So there is called something called as parse JSON. It's very simple. You don't need to do any of this. You just go into JSON string. Where is the JSON string? It's inside the results. That's all. Yeah. So if I run this now, so I'm going to save this, go back into the files. I hope guys you are able to follow me. I might be going a little fast, but it's important so that we stick in time and also be able to show you all the things that I'm doing. Awesome. So here it runs. It has done again everything exactly same as we instructed. Now let's see the output of JSON. So earlier it was the result was in string format. Now it has managed to, hopefully, yeah, it has managed to get the signal and it has managed to pull all those four outputs into a different objects altogether. Just so that you are aware, OpenAI, it's not very deterministic, right? Every time, even if you notice on ChatGPT, you might give a question, you ask a question, you'll get some answer. You ask the same question, you're not going to get the same answer, but it's still relevant answer. So last time we ran, it gave three results. This time we ran, it gave four results. So it might behave differently, but still it works better than having nothing in place, just so that you guys are aware. Okay, super. So we have got this four. What do we do next? Next, we get this all records and put them into a database. How do we do it? I'm just going to make sure I'm not going to miss on any step. So we did that. JSON flow controller router, right? So we want to do router just because once we dump the file, do everything, last route, we are going to move the file outside into a different folder. So I'm going to add a router. How do you do it? Search for route. Flow control is the app, and we are going to use this module route. In module one, what we are going to do? First, we want to find the relevant theme, right? Because you want to map the product to the theme. So how do we do that? So I'm going to click Airtable. Okay, just so that you are aware, this is a JSON output. There are four records. So this route will execute four times for every record. So when I'm talking about any model, it's for that one particular record. Yeah. Let's say first record. So I will be going into Airtable and I'm going to search record. So we want to find the right theme, which is matching to that particular product record, product signal. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to add themes. I want to look into themes. How do I fetch the theme? I want to do is theme name. Theme name is the column of this theme, and we want to match it to the theme that is coming from the output of this signal. So let's say, because like I said, that will execute, this path is going to execute as many times as there are the records in this signals array. So we are going to look at take the theme for first product or whatever product it is going to come. Let me just quickly check others. Let's let me just quickly grab the right text. Sorry, guys. For JSON, flow router, iterator we did. We add iterator. Oh, sorry. So we need to get iterator. That's the thing. Yeah. We want to iterate through this. So I missed that step. There's so many steps. It's easier to miss. Okay. So I'm going to add iterator because that's the reason I was not able to get that particular thing. So I'm going to select signal and I'll be iterating through this, which is what we have done here, which is look through each of the product signal record in JSON and then add them to the iterable. So that's what we have done. Now next we are going to search the record and we are going to actually search for theme name into this. Awesome. We just missed one step in between. So now we are going to go into our table and click search record. We are going to search for matching theme. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to select table called as product themes. And we are just going to say formula is theme name is equal to quotes. And then from your flow control iterator, I'm going to select this. So this will execute as many times there are records and it will get the theme. Next, we are going to insert a record, create a record into product signals. So we are going to go into selecting the right base, selecting the product signal. We have already fetched the product signal. If you remember, we fetched that from OpenAI. Then we have passed it into JSON. Then we are into iterator. So summary, where do you get the summary from? So if you go into your iterator, you'll be able to find everything. So signal summary is here. Signal type is here. Okay, we want to link each signal to a theme. How do we do that? That's the reason we executed the previous module where you find the right theme. So we are going to go into previous module search record where we find the matching theme. The idea of that is going to be the actual theme. So that will link the right theme to this record. This might get a little confusing, but I'm sure once you do hands-on, it will be all clear. So don't worry about this part, right? Source type, if you select the source type, you know that this is going to be the interview. You don't need to map. You turn this off and select from the drop down, whether it's survey, online forum. In our case, it's going to be for this route, it's going to be only interview. So I'm going to hardcode that. Source title, where is the source title? It is the actual file that we have downloaded. So I can go down and say the downloaded file name. And source snippet, where is the source snippet? It is coming from here, which is previous module that was iterator. And the date captured is, of course, today. So I'm going to say slash and now. So you will be able to get that variable. And I click save, right? So that is, I think, most of it, except the last part, which is we want to move the file. So we have captured all the insights we've got from OpenAI. We've dumped it into database. Now, next only part pending is we will now move the file to the right Dropbox folder so that we know it's processed. We don't want that file to be processed ever again. So you search for move a file or folder. Where is the file? So we will be taking the file, going back to file. We are just going to take this file path, which is where the actual file is. And where do we want to move it? We want to move that into the process folder. Process folder. Do you want to change the name of the file? I don't need to, so I'm going to leave that blank. So that's the full automation done. Let's see how it works, how it executes. There is no record at the moment in here, so this should get populated. And there is this file. I'm going to rename it one last time. I'm going to keep it back to the original name. I hope you guys are able to follow me along. I'm going to run this now. Awesome. So it's going now. It has gone to ChatGPT, sorry, the OpenAI. It has managed to get the JSON. It has managed to create how many? 4 records, and it has moved the file into process folder. So if I go back here, there's no file here. As we instructed in the last module, it managed to move that file into the process folder. right? Only one file we have been processing, Priya Mehta. And if I go back in the database, this is your product themes. You have one product signal against this theme, two against this, one against this. If I go into the themes, sorry, the product signal, you exactly have all the data that you are hoping for, which is you've got two problems, two opportunities, all coming from what Priya mentioned in that interview. And you've got themes. I can delete this. This is just a reference field. I don't want to confuse you guys. Yeah. So you've got themes. You've got source type, which is interview. This is the source file title, which is the file name. This is the source snippet. So what Priya was actually saying when she was talking about this particular problem. And this is the date capture, right? So that's the small subset of the automation that I demoed you earlier. This is the subset of that we have now built. This is the step-by-step guide, which explains everything from account creation until building that automation and testing that automation, right? So this is something we will be sharing. So back to the slides. I hope that was useful. That automation that I showed or the way I built it, you could see. I hopefully feel. I think that you got the gist of it, right? So having said that, few quick FAQs. I'm sure you will have loads of questions. There are these FAQs which because I did conduct this session earlier to one of the group. These are the questions I thought it will be helpful for you guys to understand. How much would running this automation cost me? So make.com, if you take free version, it allows you, I think, 1,000 operations per month. For the full system that I built, I think we had around, let's say, not more than 50 to 100. So if you even run it every week for 4 weeks, you're probably going to consume less than 500 operations. So it's much cheaper. I have paid subscription, which helps me get 10,000 operations. Airtable, again, it has around 10,000, around I think 3,000 records. Above that, it will start charging you. So that's also very much kind of free until you reach 1,000 records. OpenAI, OpenAI is the only one where you'll need to spend credits. $5 is the minimum you'll need to start with. How much does it cost to run the system? Hardly 1 to 2 cents. Right? So even the system that I built, the full-fledged system, for all those many files and emails, I think my maximum spend has been probably 3 to 4 cents for the full system. So not more than that. And because you're going to use 3.5, it's way cheaper than that. So running full system, it's not going to even cost you more than 5 cents at any time. So run it every once in a week. For a month, it's going to cost you 20 cents maximum. So it's very cheap. Second, this is a crucial question I'm sure many of you might have, is what if my data is confidential? We are not allowed to use even ChatGPT at my workplace. This is one of the things that you need to be aware of. And if you are going to build something like this, you would want to check with your IT team about your policies. But if that's going to be the case, which means you are not going to be able to use OpenAI because there is a confidential data you are sharing with OpenAI. So there are two options. One is, of course, don't use it. That's the one, which is not the option. The other option is anonymize your data, which means before you send this data to OpenAI, remove the name of the customer, remove the any confidential information about their business they might have shared. How do you do it? Of course, it might take little more time on your side to remove that manually. You can just replace that with some kind of a placeholder, generic placeholder. If possible, use regular expressions. You can use regular expressions to blank out certain level of data. But that's the thing you need to be aware of. When it comes to Reddit or scraping any information, that's going to be public information, and that's not going to harm you. Of course, there are certain policies with, let's say, Trustpilot. You might want to check with their documentation. But there are companies where when you're scraping their data, you need to check with their policies. But again, most of it, whenever it's publicly available, it's fine to scrape that information. Can I use different database or apps instead of one used like Airtable? Of course, there are more than 2,000 apps available in Airtable. You can connect with SQL, you can connect with MySQL, you can connect with various CRMs like Zendesk and Freshdesk and all of that. How often should we run this automation? I think if you are planning to run something like this, a weekly is great. Now just imagine as a product manager, you wake up Monday morning and you see that automation has run and it has kind of curated everything for you take a look at this way. So that is ideally what I would do. I would ideally add one more step, which is adding a notification at the end of this, which will mean that once the automation is executed, it will send an email to you directly to your email ID saying, "Hey, Abhilash, there are three new insights we have found, or automation has found." So that kind of keeps you on top of things. You don't want to build the automation; it keeps running, and you certainly realize after a month or two, or even a week, saying that I need to take a look at the data. No, you want it to keep notifying you. So you can build that. You can build a Slack notification where it will drop your notification saying four new problems and five new opportunities discovered, right? Something like that, which will then take you into which will make you go into that database and check what is that the new thing has come in. So yeah, so the last one is very much related. Can the automation notify us when new insights are added? Certainly, yes. You can add a new module, Slack, email, and send that email or send that Slack notification, and you should be able to stay on very much top of all the data that's getting captured. Awesome. So that was all. We are going to get to now Q&A, but quick recap. What we have learned, for some of you who might not be aware, we've seen what is product research, how do you find product research signal, or what are the sources rather, and how do you automate this insight generation using Mic.com, OpenAI Airtable. Call to action. I'll be sharing, or rather, like I said, Vishal will be sharing this step-by-step process to build your own automation, build that. And we are planning to have another much more detailed session, because this session being, the initial masterclass, it's important that we get you glimpse of make.com rather than overburdening you with building it everything from ground up. So we will be scheduling another session, which will be more like a boot camp, and it will be lengthier workshop, and it will be much more detailed, and we'll be building a comprehensive product research automation system. So in case you are interested, of course, Vishal will be talking more about it and sharing the details, but that's going to be the plan. So in case you are interested, or any of your colleagues are interested, feel free to share, but we are going to do little more hands-on. Where can you find me? LinkedIn. I'm not sure if Vishal has already shared, but if not, this is my LinkedIn ID. Feel free to connect. I will be very keen to hear your feedback, and also very keen to hear if you are able to build automation, if any steps, if you're getting stuck at any of the steps, I'll be more than happy to help you. Just DM me. I'll help you with whatever I can. Yeah. So that's LinkedIn. You can also visit my website, and if you've got any uh, work your team or your company needs, your small startup, and you need some help, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to. That takes us to the last part of the session, which is Q&A. So I'm very keen to hear your, of course, thought, feedback, and also if you've got any questions, and I'll be happy to answer those.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Abhilash, for delivering such a brilliant session. It was really, great and thought provoking. In like there were many thought provoking insights as well. I hope everyone today's session helped you unlock how to use AI to supercharge your product research, and you don't have to do a lot of manual work anymore. You saw how automation can simplify your research. So we hope that. Helps you in the future. So you can ask your questions now, and Abhilash will answer them.
Thanks, Anya. I think I see quite a few questions in here, but let's go to Q&A, guys. If you have got any questions, which I have, apologies in advance, because I was not able to keep track of all the discussions and questions in the chat box. So if you've got anything, please put it in Q&A, and I'll go through it one by one. So Siddhi Gowde is asking, I would like to know, can we link two workflows? First, deriving themes, and second, for deriving insights. Of course, you can create two different workflows, uh, but how do you link it? There is a way. Let's say you create a webhook out of one workflow, and then you kind of invoke that webhook through the second workflow. So you can build automation, because there are times when you will build more comprehensive system, you will have multiple automations. You can't have everything in one, because it becomes difficult for you to manage everything. So you can have multiple workflows created, multiple scenarios, and you invoke one scenario from another scenario using webhook. So you kind of expose one webhook and then leverage that to invoke the another webhook. But you can connect that. But for themes and product insight, I wouldn't think of having different workflow. The only reason being we are using the same source. So if you are going to look at the document and say, here is the set of themes. If you find a new theme, create a theme. But the same document is going to go into for product signal. So I would wonder why would you need two workflows? If you want to, it's pretty much possible, but I would always keep it to one workflow. So that's answered for Siddhi Gaude. I think the other one, I don't know why was that answered. So is that already answered, Vishal? I don't think so, right? There is one inside answer, which is in real life scenarios, we handle large volume of sensitive user data. How does make.com ensure security of each of these data during processing? Does it function solely as orchestrator or does it store any of the data it handles? All right, I think I've answered to some extent about OpenAI. When it comes to make.com, uh, again, this is probably I'll have to dig little deeper into this. OpenAI does, sorry, make.com do store, but again, we'll have to understand every company has a different set of policies. So it's pretty much secure. They don't have their own database. Of course, the database goes through that servers. If you're following GDPR, you want to connect to EU servers, example, that's one of the example I'm just giving you. But it's pretty much secure. It's very secure. It's just that you need to check their policies and policies of your company. Uh, and many of the companies are using it. It's just that probably aligning with what your company needs. And so, example, I was working for one of the healthcare sector company, as in a clinic or a medical clinic. They We have a HIPAA compliance, and this is not HIPAA compliant too. So I couldn't use make.com for building their application. So, like I said, it kind of differs between scenarios to scenarios. So it's worth best checking with your company, but it's used by many companies. It's secure data definitely, and it follows all the GDPR and all that regulations. Ravin Cherakra, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, is asking whether you have created a model or given context for AI output. No, I haven't created any model. I have given a context, as you might have seen. We have given the context in terms of the system prompt and the user prompt. So that's all the context it has got, and based on that context, it was able to derive the insights. So I hope that is clear. We haven't built any different. We haven't created a custom model, or we haven't given uh, anything else apart from the context or even some dynamic data. We did manage to feed some dynamic data based on what is your product, what is the research, what is the actual transcript, all of that. But yeah, we did not create a new model. Okay? I hope that's clear. Awesome. I think Vishal, we have answered. Yeah, all of it.
Yes, we have answered, Abilash, and in fact, I was just going to the LinkedIn thing also. I was trying to find out some questions as well, but I think that I haven't got any questions. People have just left their comment. Thank you for the insights and all. So thank you. I mean, Abilash, for making this out. Okay. So Sani, if you can just
You,
go to the
Vishal.
screen. Yeah. Thank you. All right. I think we have really enjoyed having you with us today, Avilash, and it has been a complete pleasure. I mean, let me just see. Please accept this certificate of appreciation from the Institute. The QR code on the certificate will take you to the dedicated Hall of Fame created for you with the recording of the session. Please share it with your network. And also, quick announcement, folks, for the people who are here right now. I'm sure you all enjoyed it as much as I did, especially watching Abhilash in action with Make.com and Airtable with OpenAI. We will soon be hosting a hands-on workshop where you will get to work alongside Abhilash and build your own automation flow. The things you will do in action will be how automation can simplify product research by integrating Make.com, Airtable, and OpenAI effectively, building a solid working research automation from scratch. Guess what? You will get an email from our side of the session, so keep checking your inbox.
Thank you so much,
Please.
Vishal. It's been my absolute pleasure being here. And I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to leave with one message for the folks who are still here or might see this later on the recording. If you got any questions, if you're stuck anywhere, feel free to just get on LinkedIn, connect with me, and drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to help.
Thank you, Avilash.